21st century, mankind has colonized the last unexplored region on Earth, the ocean. As captain of the SeaQuest and its crew, we are its guardians. For beneath the surface lies the future.
Alright, as you can see here, I got the lens covers in place. Using the file and some sandpaper, was able to sand it down and give it a final coat of finer paper later. I'm going to clear that up a little bit so it's not so cloudy. And remove the panel lines. So it's just about ready to be assembled. This one, a little bit more problems. I got some glue on it because the lens, just as I just about got it finished, popped off, so I had to glue it back in place, and while I was holding it I kind of smudged glue, but once it's good and dry I'll be able to sand that all off. So those are done. Next thing I want to do is here. Okay, in the show, at least in one episode I saw, this here and this here were hollowed out, and these were the shoulder straps for the pilot came through. So if we take the pilot and lay him in position, you can see those holes will be just above his shoulder. So I'm going to try to drill them out, smooth them up and everything, and then we're going to make some straps come down to help hold him in place. Alright, so be right back. So as you can see, after a little bit of drilling and cutting, we've got the holes in a seat. Came out pretty good. Go through, what I'll do is we'll get some shoulder strap material, which I got some ideas for that. Put them and attach them to the back of this, and they'll lay them over top of the pilot once he's all painted and decaled. It'll be one of the last things to go in. We'll put some straps on them. So on to the next thing. Still working on a Stinger, putting her together. As you can see, you got all the I guess you call them the bow planes on, the dorsal fins, all in place. Still doing a lot of work on the seam lines down the center and trying to blend in the tip of the nose here, because this very tip piece from here back is a separate piece. I'm trying to blend it all in, make it smooth, because again, the Stinger had no seam lines on it. The other thing I noticed when I put I'll call them the housings for the thrusters, there's some big ugly gaps on here. So what I ended up doing is using some epoxy sculpt, the 2-part epoxy sculpt I use a lot, and molded it, blended it in real well. So it's got a better look, but I've got to do some sanding on it to make it even better, hopefully. I really don't want to see the lines, but that's where I'm working next. And give it a primer shot and see where we have to go. So, alright, be right back. Okay, so we got some primer on the Stinger. Now the idea of doing this was, if you remember, around the thruster housings there was a large ugly gap, and I decided to fill that with epoxy sculpt. And then it took a lot of sanding to try to get it smooth. Also was working on the nose piece, because this piece here from about here forward is also a separate piece, and it's smooth on the actual vehicle. So I'm trying to blend and get rid of the seam line. You can see here the primer, it shows all of our nastiness. I still got a little work to do here. I'm gonna have to fill this again, and it's not as perfect around here as I'd like, especially in between here, which of course is the hardest part to get to. You can't get in there with the sanding as well as you can on these outside spots. So, and then I still got a line around here that I have to do. So what this means is back to the sanding board. Do some filling and go from there. With this being white as the final color, I'm not sure how much this stuff will actually show up as it does with black, but still try to get as perfect as I can. As much as this is the part I hate the most, but it is what it is. The more effort you put into this part, the better the outcome's going to be. So time to get back at it. Right back.